House of the Dragon is not the only prequel to Game of Thrones. This is the first to go to the screen. In 2018, HBO announced a pilot for a Game of Thrones, Bloodmoon prequel. He even entered development, and a pilot episode of $30 million was achieved. According to The Hollywood Reporter, even George R.R. Martin himself did not see the failed pilot. "It was not inaccessible or horrible or anything," said former president of Warnermedia, Robert Greenblatt. "It was very well produced and looked extraordinary. But that didn't take me to the same place as the original series. He did not have this depth and this wealth that the pilot of the original series made." Loading. Bloodmoon would have taken place for years before Game of Thrones, during the legendary Age of the Heroes, and the winter apocalypse known as the Long Night. With Naomi Watts, the prequel would have plunged into an invisible period on the screen, and it's half of the problem. There were only a few lines in the books of George R.R. Martin who ever approached the events that this series would cover. "Bloodmoon was a very difficult mission," said Martin. "We are dealing with much more primitive people. There were no dragons yet. A large part of the pilot turned around a wedding in a southern house in the north, and she entered the whole history of the White Walkers." Despite the concerns, the showrunner Jane Goldman would have been confident in the pilot, assembling a writer's room, and making changes to the episode according to the comments of the studio. And that's when the show was cancelled. "Having a spectacle that is a pure invention, and that George scratches his head at various times was sometimes disturbing," said an anonymous initiate. "It required much more invention. It was a higher risk, a higher award," said Casey Bloys, HBO content director. "There was nothing wrong with that. Development and pilots are difficult." The unprecedented prequel episode of the Game of Thrones unpublished prequel was filmed in Northern Ireland in 2019, but was finally put aside. However, HBO announced that a separate series, the next Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, had received the green light. 8 Watch to watch if you liked Game of Thrones. 9 images. Now House of the Dragon heads for our screens on August 21, 2022, next month. And with a series of Jon Snow also in preparation, it seems that Game of Thrones does not slow down anytime soon. However, I can't help but wonder what's in this $30 million pilot. Want to know more about